Every morning, Mr. Harold, an elderly man with silver hair and kind eyes, sat by the window in his small, quiet house. His hands trembled slightly as he held a cup of tea, gazing at the empty chair across from him. It had once been occupied by his beloved wife, Mary, who had passed away 2 years ago. The sun would rise, casting a warm glow on the chair, but to him, it only emphasized the emptiness in his heart. Despite the ache in his bones, Harold went for a walk every afternoon, just like he and Mary used to do. The park was full of life, children laughing, birds singing, and people chatting. But to Harold, it all felt distant. He sat on the same bench they had always shared, his cane resting beside him. He closed his eyes, picturing Mary's laughter, her warm hand in his. The memories felt both comforting and unbearably painful. One day, while sitting on the bench, a young woman with her child stopped by. The little girl smiled at Harold and offered him a flower. The mother asked about his day, and for a brief moment, Harold felt a flicker of warmth in the interaction. He spoke softly, telling the woman about his late wife and how they used to sit in that very spot. The woman listened with kindness, but after she left, the park seemed even quieter. The flower she gave him wilted in his hands. That evening, Harold sat alone at his dining table, a simple meal of soup before him. The chair across from him remained empty, and the house echoed with silence. He stared at the plate, barely touching his food. The table felt too large, the room too still. He missed the clink of Mary's spoon, the soft conversation that had once filled the air. As the night deepened, Harold retired to bed, the weight of loneliness pressing heavily on his chest. One quiet evening, Harold decided to write a letter to Mary, something he had done often in the months after she passed. He sat at his desk and, with shaking hands, wrote about his day, his walks, and how much he missed her. As he finished the letter, tears welled in his eyes. He folded the paper carefully and placed it in a drawer already filled with letters he knew she would never read. He sat back in his chair, staring at the empty space beside him, whispering her name, hoping somehow she could hear him.